Guys, appreciate you tuning in for this lunch episode of Good Gut Health with Jared. I'm Jared Toy, Jared's Probiotics, Jared's Pro Pops. I appreciate you tuning in. If you don't have time to watch this, you can click the upper right hand corner and save file and watch it later. But if you're watching this at a later time on YouTube or anywhere else, I appreciate you tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about really kind of something that I see a lot of people having, and that's heartburn and indigestion. And how does that relate to better digestive health? Very important. Again, I'm sure that many of you guys have had heartburn before. There's probably, I think I read somewhere, about 60 million or so people have heartburn at least once a month. About 25 million or so have it daily, and it's a pretty big deal. And again, if you've ever had heartburn, it's horrible because what happens is you feel that constant burning sensation in your digestive system, your tract, your stomach, etc. But what most people think is that having heartburn is a result of having too much stomach acid. And I'm here to tell you actually that it's completely the opposite. In most instances, 95% of the instances, it's actually because people don't produce enough stomach acid. That's why you have heartburn. And so what happens is that most of the people that take heartburn medication, which actually it's about tens of billions of dollars every single year that the pharmaceutical companies, pitch out to you. And there's actually even more because over-the-counter medications that you can find, the antacid medicines, you can buy those anywhere. But having constantly that state of heartburn and indigestion, actually, if you think about it, just constant irritation on your digestive tract and your esophagus. And if you think about it, just constantly burning, people don't realize the amount of stomach acid or actually how toxic stomach acid can be. And if you have that constantly irritated on your esophagus or places where it's not supposed to be, it can cause a significant amount of irritation and digestive issues. And it's really this perpetual notion of having heartburn medications or you're taking over-the-counter medications actually cause more problems than solving the problems, because taking antacids actually are curing the symptoms, not the problem. Now let me explain. So if you have heartburn, generally what happens is people take the heartburn, the antacids, and you feel that relief. If you look at it, it's basically just calcium. What it's doing is absorbing that acid. You're going to get some sort of relief. But what you're actually doing is that you're telling your body to do something that it's not naturally meant to do, which is stop production of acids. You produce stomach acid because you have to digest foods and get nutrients from those foods. So by taking antacids, basically you're what I like to call is turning down the valve on a faucet. You're basically just tightening it. And if you constantly do that over the course of time, basically it's just not going to be able to be produced at all. Just like if you tighten up the cold or the hot water faucet. If you keep on doing that, eventually it's not going to tighten anymore and you actually can't even get it off. So when you take antacid medications or over-the-counter medications, you actually are telling your body not to do something that it's naturally meant to do. Now people say, well, Jared, again, that still doesn't make any sense. How come I get a little bit of relief? Again, you're solving the symptoms, not the problem. And what happens is that heartburn and indigestion and stomach acid production actually decreases as we age. If heartburn and acid reflux were caused by too much stomach acid, you'd see a bunch of teenagers popping antacid pills. But what happens? Who do you see actually taking that? Are the older people as you age, you take more and more. And then what happens is you take one antacid, then you take two, then you take three, and eventually, as I said, you're tightening that up until you can't produce any more stomach acid. And then you're going to have a significant amount of problems associated with that. Now, how can you solve the problems? First of all, it's to eliminate those foods that you are eating that cause the indigestion. Most people don't even know that. But generally, most instances, you have a bad bacterial overgrowth in your stomach or in your intestine, and that causes a significant amount of irritation. So the way that you can do that, of course, is by taking probiotics to offset that balance of bacterial overgrowth. That's the first thing that you can do. The second thing, as I said, is that try to find out the foods associated with the poor digestion. Eliminate those from your diet. But again, most of the acid reflux are caused by bacterial growth of processed sugars and carbs that you have in your stomach. So hopefully this was beneficial. If you have any questions about this, comment below or send me a message. But again, this is something that probably you aren't going to hear anywhere else or maybe at a few other places, but heartburn and indigestion are caused by low stomach acid, not too much stomach acid. If you liked it, click like below. Go to Jared's Pro Pops over on Facebook. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully this was beneficial as you're eating your lunch. Don't get indigestion. Have a great day. Peace.